Hey everybody, it's David. Just a short video for you guys today. It's been so good to have some of our elders and church leaders providing some daily encouragement for you. Wanted to share part of the devotion we had in youth group today. It's a great moment in the Bible. It's in Mark chapter 13, right there in the middle. This is shortly after Jesus has arrived in Jerusalem, and so it's the culmination of his years of ministry, his prophetic proclamations about what the Son of Man must do, and his prophetic denunciations of the temple and some of the religious authorities, and the way that they've manipulated the truth. And so you've got the Herodians, the Sadducees, who cooperate with Rome in order to maintain their authority over the temple. And you've got the Pharisees, who are in charge of the synagogues and all the local communities and don't cooperate as much with Rome or with Herod as the Sadducees do, but still do some. And at this point, the Herodians, the Sadducees, and the Pharisees have kind of said, we have to work together to take on this Jesus guy. He's bad for both of us. And so they have a trap, and they're going to catch him in public, and they're going to say, hey, should we pay taxes to Caesar? Because the Pharisees know that if he says yes in front of the crowds, well, the crowds are going to turn on him because they don't like Rome. Rome is the pagan empire that has shown up and conquered them, humiliated them, and is now kind of, putting the heel to their necks as far as taxes and all kinds of unreasonable occupational laws and colonial policies. And they say, but if he says, no, don't pay the tax, well, then they've got that on public record. They can go to Pilate and say, this guy is saying, we have to rebel. We have to resist Caesar. Caesar is not Lord. And so they're thinking we can either get him arrested or we can get the crowds to turn on him. And of course, eventually both those things happen, but not yet. Jesus sees the trap coming, and he answers their question with a question. When they say, should we pay taxes? Jesus says, well, who's on the coin, right? Whose image is on the coin? And that word image is key here, because Jesus, he knows whose face and whose inscription's on the coin. And so when he forces them to say it out loud, he says, well, if Caesar wants his money back so much, then give it to him, right? But give to God what belongs to God. And that image word is clear because it's the same word that appears in the first chapter of Genesis when it says that God created humankind in the very image of God, right? Male and female, God created them. We are made in the image of God. And so while some flimsy metal coin might have a picture, an inscription, an image of Caesar stamped on it, fine. If the guy wants the money with his face on it so bad, give it back to him. But Jesus is reminding the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the crowds, everyone listening, remember who you truly belong to. Remember whose image is stamped onto your heart and soul, right? And if you need to pay Caesar what belongs to Caesar, fine. But remember that you, and indeed all of creation, belong to God. So of course they were amazed at this. They'd been trapped in their own trap, and the crowds are loving it, and Jesus has taught everyone this powerful lesson, and it still rings true 2,000 years later, right? Money is money. Money has different faces on it in every single country. If those faces are the governments that claim to speak for those faces say you got to pay your taxes, then yeah, sure, whatever, pay your taxes. But never forget who you are. Never forget whose you are. Never forget that the God of all creation has made you lovingly in God's own image, and that we're called to act in ways that reflect and honor who we are and who made us. Amen.